Greetings, comments, my Gigantals, and there's another part of one of my long overdue videos. I'm going to now show you my cacti and plants, because I should have done that before. I told you I named them like last year, but I just need to tell you which ones they are now and everything. So I'm just going to start off with the left here, and yes, these are real names. All these names, by the way, mean something along the lines of desert flower, okay? So here we have Yasmine. So I don't actually know what Yasmine is. She's something. Actually, that's a bit weird for me to say that, because I actually did have a Yasmine in my high school, so it's a bit flashbacks. Anyway, as you can see, Yasmine looks a bit funny, and the reason why is because originally she grew straight up. There's my finger there. She used to grow straight up, okay. But because of my last accommodation, so I can sort of show you because you can't see too well in the opposite buildings. Okay, so basically my building's like a giant donut, and I was on the inside of it, so light only came in from one angle. So this side of the Yasmine was facing the sun always, so the whole plant grew this way. So it grew that way. So it towards the camera. And when I went back home, because my windowsill was too narrow, because this thing is huge. Look how long this, look how thick, look how wide this thing is. It's longer than my ugly arm. It's longer than my arm. Anyway, so because of the windowsill was thinner there, I couldn't really try and fix the plant because it'd be sticking off and smacking into my curtains. So here I'm going to try and fix it by putting the back of Yasmine's back to the sun and seeing if maybe she'll grow up or upright again. And it has sort of worked, because she was originally lying almost flat. I keep forgetting what the camera is. She was lying almost flat, but she's spreading back again, which is good. And Yasmine's actually growing a lot better than I thought she would. And the reason why is because a couple of months ago, when there was a really strong wind, what ended up happening was my window was open too wide, and a huge gust of wind came in. And my dad's what he said, that a huge gust of wind came in, and it ripped Yasmine out of the plant, so her little stem snapped, and all this so a little stem snapped there, and all this came falling out. So I quickly tried to bury the base of the stem on top of the stump as quickly as possible, and then I tried giving her a mixture of, what was it? It was boiled water mixed with honey and cinnamon, because apparently that helps rooting. And so this was a couple of months ago, but Yasmine seems to be somewhat surviving. So maybe she's either reattached or she's growing new roots or whatever it is. She seems to be doing okay. Now I've never seen these buds on her actually flower. Okay, and then here we have Susanna. Now Susanna is an Easter cactus. Just move it aside. Now she was okay. Now these two cacti, basically, I got them from my biology lecturer in college. She basically had an Easter and Christmas cactus on her desk, and it was an example of asexual reproduction. And so at the end of the year, at the end of my year, I went to get some samples from her, and I took them home and I planted them. So I took two. So basically, okay, if I try to use this part as an example, so I snapped this bit off, so there were two leaves. I buried one leaf in the soil, and then I left the other one sticking out, so I'd be able to photosynthesize. Why isn't this focusing? And so, I mean, it's basically, I then planted Yasmine. Sorry, Yasmine. I then planted Susanna, and I left her, and it took a little while, but she grew somewhat quicker than the plant over here, as I'll show you in a bit. For a while, she was the biggest plant here. Now, as you can see, there seems to be two plants in here, and the reason why is because it's actually because of my blind at home, which is somewhat broken. When my dad was trying to open the blind, I believe, or close the blind or something, it fell, and it fell on the Susanna here and broke off part of a plant there. So it broke off here, just a bit of a plant wall there. You can see the remains of the. Well, if this thing focused, then you would. There you can see some of the remains of the phylum inside them there. Yeah, those little veins. Okay, and so that broke off, and my dad was he was unhappy because he didn't mean to do that. Okay, he was sad. I was like, no, that's fine. And so then I planted what was left in there. Now, these two plants here have a much stronger rooting than Yasmine. So Susanna, she was fine with the high wind. But the splitting off happened maybe a couple of months ago as well. Susanna 2, or Susanna Junior, I'll make that Where's my pen? Wait, I have so many pens, and they all go missing. And I'll just add on Susanna Junior. There you go. Susanna and Susanna Junior. Anyway, so Susanna and Susanna Junior are in here. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of weird marks on her leaves, and there's two reasons as to why. Firstly, these splotchy areas, as you can, these splotchy areas here, you see them, right? They look pale. Okay. When I was at home, one of the problems I had with is that I live in a very hard water area, and I didn't realize it at the time. When I was watering people outside, when I was watering Susanna, there was a lot of salt and stuff in the minerals in the water, and when the water evaporated, because I poured straight on, so, straight onto the plant, and when the water evaporated, it left all the salt deposits behind, and that's what those things are. So that's all salt on. That's all salt on her, and that's also the reason why there are also these weird that look like all these weird marks of it. For instance, like here. Why is this thing not focusing? There. Yeah, you see that? Okay. So what happened was one day Susanna started growing these really weird splodges and everything, and I was concerned because I thought there was an infection. And over the next week or so, something grew bigger, and then one of them went straight through one of her leaves, and I started panicking. And so I went to look it up on the internet and said, "Oh, it could be anything from a parasite to a disease," and I got concerned. So I took a picture of her quickly, just to see how big she was. And then I started snapping off the leaves who had the worst of this infection on it. And I then dried them out and tried to plant them elsewhere. So my family have them now. They've repotted them and everything. So they have all the other Susanna Juniors. Susanna Junior maybe? I don't know. Susanna Junior 2, whatever. Wait, there were 5 samples I took. No, there were 7. Yeah, 7. Okay. And what ended up happening was I didn't do a very good job when removing some of them. For instance, here. You see that weird section there that looks like it's being... You see this section there? Okay. There used to be one coming out there, and I ripped it out, but I took out some of the phloem and xylem too, and so this is now just left scar tissue there, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this I can't see. It's hard to orient. Okay, this one here, I don't know why it's curved, but basically I tried to remove all of the apparent infectious or infected leaves that Susanna had. Oh, there's a little leaf down there. Okay. Problem was, after I did more research, I found out that it was actually probably due. Focus on plant. I found out that it was probably actually due to the salt water, the salt content as well. And those weird little marks, like, look, so she had marks like this, and they were forming all over her leaf. Yeah, you see that? So all the those types of marks. And so what I did was I took a knife and I started cutting them off. And they came off quickly enough, and I thought, okay, maybe they're just a parasite, because I read about parasite, that's something like that. And so then all that was left are these scars where I tried to remove them. And so there are a few of them, when this thing focuses, sweet naturals. So there are a few of these scars, and then I stopped after a while because I wasn't sure if they were even parasites anymore. But basically I tried everything I could to keep it safe. And then they stopped really appearing, which is good. And because I started using bottled water instead of tap water. And during this period of time, so she initially had a big burst of growth, and she was the biggest cactus I had. But then she slowed down somewhat and has been overtaken. So there's been a few new growths, like there's like here. So there's one there, there's another there, and that's gonna grow at some point. I mean, it's been just those 3.5 leaves for a little bit, and when this thing was grown to a certain height, it had grown to a certain size, I added more soil, so it covered up the rest, almost the rest of one of the 2 original leaves, so that it could so that it was a bit more stable, and it's grown considerably thicker there, right? So just happy to support the base. And oh great, okay, I was going to do the third one now. Hold on, I've got to charge my phone for a few minutes. Okay, that should give me enough charge for a few minutes. Right, so there's my pen, and then like one pen I found. Yeah. Okay, so third and final plant is Zabrina. Now Zabrina is a Christmas cactus, and she's considerably larger than the other two. So Zabrina here, she started out very small, and you may remember from some of my earlier videos. Whilst Susanna was bigger, but now Zabrina is much larger. I mean, she is huge. Look at all those leaves, eh? It's clear to see. Like, okay, this one basically the sun was coming in from this direction, so they all grew this way. This one, it came from this direction as well. Now, she initially had some problems when trying to grow, and can I see them? Yeah, okay. So, this leaf here, that leaf right... Let me get my pen out, this is going to make it easier. Okay. This curtain's getting in the way. This leaf right here, this one here, looks slightly deformed. And that was because I wasn't feeding her enough water initially. So she started dying and taking away some of the minerals from that leaf to survive. However, I started feeding her some more and she grew fine. And now that leaf... No, sorry, roommate. And now that leaf is... Where's my pen? There it is. Now that leaf is, got all this section here, all this growth. And there are a couple of other weird leaves too. Like there's one over here. Where is it? This one here is excessively thin. Like just trust me, you can't see it. It's very thin compared to all the others. No, sorry, no. This one is excessively thin. I'm trying to use my camera. There, this one's very thin. I don't know why. And yeah, some leaves are pointier than others. Some are slightly red because they're still growing. There's a new addition to Zabrina. Zabrina didn't have any of those problems that Susanna did. Maybe to a smaller level, like here. Can I use my nose to focus? Yes, I can. Like, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Does that look like the same problem? Anyway, oof, wow. Why doesn't this thing just focus properly? Okay, so she's much bigger. When I tried to add more soil to her, because I did the same thing as I did to Susanna, I saw that she was growing a leaf by the side of her, and I felt a bit bad because I thought I was going to bury that leaf. A couple of weeks later, I didn't. This offshoot here is part of that leaf that I had initially buried. So, sorry, don't poke hole there. This leaf here, and so she somehow managed to grow all the way through that ground and then spawn several big leaves up there. So it's quite impressive growth. I mean, again, if you look at some older videos, you will see how small these plants were. How that one was a bit more wasn't as dense on one side and was slightly straighter. This one is smaller. This one is even smaller. And look how much they've grown now. I'm proud of my girls. I've looked after them fine, and they've grown well. Now Susanna is the only one that's actually flowered, and she produced a few bright pink flowers. Very nice to see. I think though it's a combination of temperature and light levels in order to induce flowering. But for me, I'm just fine with letting these with my girls here grow. And you can see in some of the places here, Susanna has tried to grow roots, and that's a bit of a problem because as you can clearly see, the soil is down there, right down there, and the roots are up here. So she's not going to put those roots up there, and there's another long one there. See, those roots are not going to grow anyway, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. Especially that one. I mean, like, what's this one even doing up here? I'm like, the ground's not up there. I mean, meanwhile here on Susanna, she's always growing her roots in the ground. They've never really grown up out the stalks up there. So yeah, I didn't remove any leaves from Susanna. Maybe that's why she grew so well. But some of the roots have grown in the right place, like there, as you can see, there's a small hole in the ground there, and they've all grown correctly in the right place. So this is basically what I do now in when I don't have really anyone to care for. I don't have Charlie here, unfortunately, so I've just got my plants to look after. So yeah, my plants, my whatever that plant is, I'll try and find a name for it. Yasmine, my Easter cactus, Susanna, and Susanna Jr. and then my Christmas cactus, Zabrina. So yeah, as I said, these two are from my college lecture, my college biology lecturer's original plants, and I'm glad that they've survived. That one there was given to me long after these two, when I first moved into my accommodation, my first one. My parents gave it to me as a home warming gift. I was like, oh, thanks, man. They gave me that in a Toblerone, which took me like 8 months to eat for some reason. Yeah, so those are my plants, guys. So, and you're gonna see it now. I'm gonna put a clip in here to show you just how young these plants originally looked. Plant of mine. Just ignore that. That's staining from the soil. It's freezing. Yeah, I got plants. I got a plant here too. Got a little cactus. I got this thing. I don't know what it is. And I got another cactus there. Then I know you can just see me. Can you hear anything? I mean, look at that comparison. Look at how much they've grown since now. Or since then, eh? That's incredible. I mean, okay, Yasmine is a bit hard to see because of the density of the growth there. Like, seriously, that's very, very dense growth. Alright. Hopefully, it'll pull back a little bit, and these two as well. But I'm impressed with these two. I mean, just look at them, right? The first one to grow to big, and then this one, late bloomer, but certainly a big one as well. Yeah, so those are my plants, guys. So if you like the video, please give a like, please share my videos, because you comment what you think, and then the video you want me to do. Please subscribe to my channel so you can see more content. Please ring bells to keep you updated on my video releases. It's been like 1.25 years since I got these plants. Really. So 1.25 for these two, probably 1 year, a little more than 1 year for that one. So I'm going to maybe I'll do another one maybe I'll do another one in about a year's time. See how well they've grown now. I'm not sure how I'm going to transport them if they're getting too big, but I'll somehow manage. So those are my plants, guys. Hope you enjoyed them. My desert flowers, even though 2 flower, but you love them all equally. Keep me company. I talk to them. No, I don't actually. Look that crazy. Haha. Anyway, see you next video, comrades. Let me just get a good shot. There you go. See you next video, comrades. Until then.